Hello, ladies. I am so excited that you are joining me on this challenge. I put on today's email that it is the hardest and the easiest day. It is the hardest because you're having to choose to step outside of your norm and do something different, but it's the easiest because today is basically just going to be getting out all the stuff that's going on here in your mind out on some paper today. But before we get started, I do want to introduce myself because we do have ladies on here that I have never met before. So I am Scarlett Tandy. I'm currently the the assistant children's family pastor at Family Life Church in Lake Jackson, Texas. And before that, I've been doing this for almost 2 years now. Before that, I was a pre-K teacher for like 10 years at a small school here in our town. And so that's just a little bit of like where my background knowledge is and where I'm coming from. But even more so, this challenge doesn't come from what I've really learned at the school or in the church. These things that I have learned have come from real life situations that I've had with my family. For a lot of you guys that do know me, you've been here along the way, and so I don't want to dig into all of that. But for those of you that don't know my story, over the last 6 years, our family has gone through a roller coaster of struggles with our kids as soon as they turn teenagers, because we are a blended family. And so as soon as our oldest one, which is my stepdaughter, turned 15, she went to go live with her mom in Alabama, which kind of wrecked our world. And in that process of grieving and mourning her being gone and trying to figure out how to bring her back, our younger two, which were just right behind her in age, they're all just a few years apart, began to have their own struggles and issues. And in that process, they ended up moving to their dad's as well. So if if you're a parent or you've ever experienced your child leaving just even on a simple basis, like maybe going to visit a grandparent or going off to college, something like that, you know what it's like to not have your kids around. So for me to experience, go from having a house of 3 to not having any kids in the house and not being prepared or expecting that for that time in our life, I still thought I had a few years raising them. It was the hardest thing that I have gone through. It was like someone literally ripped my heart out of my chest. And so I've had to, in those 6 years of process, I've had to learn how to choose joy and keep my thoughts focused on positive things and to really lean in on God's truth and what He says and hold tight to my faith with that. And it's been a journey, to say the least. In the middle of all of that, I lost my dad first and then my grandmother within just a couple years, and my grandma's the one who raised me, so it was like losing your mother. So like I said, it's just been a roller coaster of emotions. So I don't know what it is that you're going through. I don't know if it's something big or if it's just the current crisis going on, the pandemic, weather, having to do virtual learning, whatever it is that's going on in your life right now that has you stressed out, that when you saw my message that you were like, yes, that's me. I've got to do something different, whatever it is. These steps that I've learned for myself, I believe can help you if you put them into practice in your day-to-day life. I don't always get it perfectly right. Even just creating this course, I came to a point just a couple days ago where my thoughts were running rampant, and I'm like, I don't know who I am that I can do this. Who am I to teach you guys how to do something when my life is a mess itself? Like, it's not like I have it all together yet. And that's not the point. And like I said in last night's intro video, you're not going to just magically you do this and your life is perfect and things aren't happening around you. You're still going to have a mess of things happening all around you. We can never stop trouble from coming into our life, but what we can stop is how we process it and how we let it affect us, and how we as moms, as women, let it affect us. It trickles down into how it's affecting our family. So it is very, very vital that we're able to take our thoughts captive. And it's biblical. The Bible tells us to take our thoughts captive, and it wouldn't tell us to do it if we didn't have the ability to do it. But we really got to hone in on spending that time with God. So that's where we're at now with day 1. And today's video may be just a little bit longer because I wanted to set the stage for you. But the exercises that you're going to be doing, usually, like I was saying in the video last night, I want you to have like an hour block, but it shouldn't take you an hour. But some days there will be like 30-minute exercises. And so you really need to choose a time where you're able to really focus in on it. So today, what I'd like you to do, if you got your journal, go ahead and pull that out now. If you don't, then, you know, pause the video and get your journal out, or get it after this video is done. But what I want you to do, today's called the brain dump. So all you're gonna do, and I didn't come up with this, you know, I've learned it from people that have spoken to my life, people that that I listen to and that are my mentors, people that I've never met, but I've listened to them online and they've really encouraged me and got me to the point where I'm at today. So you're gonna do a brain dump. I want you to just take all the thoughts that come in your head all day long that pull you away from being able to enjoy life. It could be fear that you have. It could be just the stress of your day-to-day task, just any issues that come up, family problems. I just want you to write it all down. It doesn't have to be eloquent. It doesn't even have to be complete sentences. I just want you to just put it all on paper. And this is a good practice to do in general, not just day one, but when you start to feel overwhelmed, you just do a brain dump and you get on your journal and you just write them all down. So that is step one today. I want you just to write it down. You don't have to know anything, any whys or anything yet to it. But then I want you, after you write it all down, I want you to sit quietly for at least 15 minutes. If you can do 20, that would be better, but at least start with 10, 15, 20 minutes. You can set a timer. What I have to do is I have to actually put a timer on my phone so that I know it's gonna go off in 10 minutes if that was my goal, or 15 minutes. So I'm not constantly looking at the clock, because then I will try to go to my quiet time with God, and then I'm like praying with one eye open, you know, like, oh, has it been long enough? Oh, nope, not yet. Let me keep going. So just set that timer so you don't even have to worry about it anymore. And then I want you just to sit in quietness and just ask God, like, God, I need you to reveal to me what is going on. What are these thoughts going on? What's the root of them? We need to get to the why, like, why are these thoughts constantly going on in your mind? So just ask God, like, hey, God, I need you to reveal these things. Why do I feel this way? Why am I so stressed right now? And I can guarantee you, for the most part, you're not going to get an answer right now. Like, you're not going to just hear the voice of God come down from the heavens and the skies open up and like, well, daughter, here's what's happening. It doesn't work that way. But you asked, and God asked us to ask him for stuff, and he wants to give us answers. So you ask for wisdom and knowledge, he's going to give you wisdom and knowledge. So you took the first step. Scripture says that when we speak it out, that he hears it. So you've done that. And then I want you to sit in it, and I want you to sit quietly. And if thoughts are coming into your head, just keep asking God, but why do I feel this way? And another thought pops in your head, but why do I feel this way? And just allow yourself to be quiet. And by the end of the exercise, you may realize that being quiet and sitting and listening is very hard. Now, maybe you're an expert at this already, so this part should be really easy to you. But this, my friends, was the hardest thing for me. This actually took me a 2-month, summer-long process to figure out how to sit and be quiet. I do pray and I worship, but I'm usually the one with my mouth moving and talking and not allowing God to speak into my life, because I have a lot to say. It helps me in things like this because I can talk, but to be able to receive, it made it a little bit harder. So if you don't get it right the first time, don't beat yourself up. If you need to set a 5-minute timer instead of a 10-minute timer, do what you need to do just so that you can sit in God's presence for a short period of time. Give yourself a goal and then begin to extend that goal. So, and then before we finish up here, you should have got a survey like this yesterday with your last night email. So if you didn't, go back and look for that. This isn't something that you don't have to fill it out for me. I don't need the answers, but if some like push comes to shove and you're really needing some assistance and you are having a hard time like moving forward and some stuff, then having those answers will help me out. But it's also going to guide you over the next few days when I'm asking questions. You will already have given it some thought. You can print it out if you have a printer, but it has a lot of color on it, so you may not want to waste ink. But you can also just take a screenshot or something, or just write it down in your journal, the questions, and put your answers on there. But it is vital that you do that. And one of those questions was, are you a morning person or a nighttime person? And like I said in the video yesterday, pick the time that's best for you. If you're a morning person, do this early in the morning. If you're a night person, do this after the kids go to sleep. But I guarantee you, in order to get your thoughts under like, to catch them, whatever we're saying right here, to put your thoughts in order here, and take your thoughts captive, you're going to want to wake up before the rest of your family wakes up. That's a simple step that can save your life. If your kids are the ones waking you up, you're already starting off on the wrong foot. So you want to set your alarm clock at least 30 minutes before so you can start processing and just spend a little bit of time with God and say, God, I need your help today. Help me to focus on the positive things that are going on. So that's step one. You're going to spend that time with God. And then after you spend that quiet time with them, I just want you to go back to your journal and write down anything that was happening. Even if it's just, I couldn't do it. I couldn't sit here for 10 minutes. These are the thoughts that kept racing through my mind. And those thoughts that keep coming up, those are triggers. Those are key. You need to take note of those. So write those things down that just keep coming up over and over. And then I just want you to let it rest, and I want you to go about your day and just be diligent of thinking of these things that where your mind keeps wandering through the day, and take notes. If you have a phone that has a notes section, just write that down. Maybe you can't just stop and write stuff down. Just take mental note of like, okay, this is where my mind goes throughout the day. These are the things that I'm worrying on and thinking about, and just take note of that, and then write those things down when you can, because we're going to come back to them tomorrow. So that is all for day one. If you have any questions and you don't quite understand, you can send me an email. I am here for you. I am your support. Again, I am not a doctor. I am not a psychologist. I don't have all of the answers, but I do have my experience and what I've done in order to be able to move forward even through the hardest times of my life. So again, I'm just so proud of you ladies. Way to go of taking the first step, and I will see you back here on day 2.